It is what it is. We can't sit here and pretend like we are the same as men. We're not. We're not. We can't wash men off. Period. No, I need you to hear me. We cannot wash men off. Mm-hmm. There will always be a remnant of the men that we've been with inside of our bodies for life. So if you are just filled with all of these different people, you know how many different soul ties, demon spirits you got in your body?
But so do men though.
No, men can wash us off. What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of It's Giving. I am your host, Sarah Fontenot, and if you have not yet, please hit that button below so you can get subscribed. Hit that little bell so you get a notification with each new piece of content. Now, today is a new day. If you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, if you woke up with a little bit of an attitude, if you woke up not feeling like yourself, just know that you could pray anything away, okay? Number one, that's first and foremost. Number two, we got shot by Aneesa on the mic. What's up, baby girl?
Hey, Sarah. Hey.
Hey, girl. She be doing all the marketing, all the help, and all the ideas and all of the things. You know, we got creative director on the switchboard. Who is Kenny V? What's up?
What's up, givers?
How you feel?
Feeling amazing. Bless. Let's go.
It's going to be a great day. So without further ado, you guys have asked and we are just responding. We have a ton of questions to get to. We did put a question box in the story of my personal page today, which is MsSarahFontenot.com. If you don't get to, submit them in the link below. So Aneesa,
yes, ma'am.
What we doing first?
I have a good little question to start off with information.
Ready?
If a man wants to become a leader and a provider, what should he do first?
If a man wants to become a leader and a provider, what should he do first? I feel like I've answered this question. I'm always going to have the same answer. Number one, you've got to know God. Number two, you've got to know your purpose. And number three, you have to feel good in your bank account, regardless of what tax bracket you're in, so that you feel good about how you show up in the world. Because there are some men that make $100,000 a year that have way more charisma, self-esteem, sense of empowerment, sense of self-love, and self-appreciation than someone that might make $1 million a year. Sometimes the math is not mathing, right? So I think that those three things, I don't even feel like men should really go into serious dating until they have a relationship with God, they're clear on what their purpose is, and they feel good in their bank account. Up until then, have fun, play the field.
So out of those three,
yeah,
what is the number one thing he must do first? Like if he wanted, like we have a conglomerate of things to do, what's the first thing he should tackle?
Know God first.
Okay.
That's always going to be first.
I knew that was going to be your answer, but I had to ask.
Yeah. And then I also feel like as far as knowing your purpose, I also feel like sometimes your purpose is a pivot.
What do you mean?
I mean, sometimes just because you're good at something doesn't mean that's what you're supposed to be doing for the rest of your life. And the question is, are you okay with shifting and pivoting in an empowered way, in a I got this way, in a we gonna be all right type of way? Or are you falling victim to your circumstance, situations, and sometimes even your talents, not your anointed gifts?
Okay. I can see that.
Okay.
I had a question for you, but it left me.
Okay.
It's fine. Let's see
what we got. And also givers, while Aneesa's looking for questions, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them below and we'll get to those as well. Okay. Back to you.
Here's my question. So in this economy,
yes,
that was the question I forgot. In this economy, when you're saying feeling good in your bank account.
Yes.
For a man who wants to come from the 50-50 to being a full provider, I understand the three things you said: be safe in your bank accounts, relationship with God, and knowing your purpose.
Yes.
But what mindset shift do they have to go from wanting to be a full provider? Because there was a video that I'm actually going to bring up in later on in the episode where a man is like, a 50-50 man is talking to a full provider. Mm-hmm. And he was like, after you do all of this stuff for your wife, what's left for you then? And he was like, brother, you don't understand. Like, doing stuff for her is doing stuff for me. True. So it's like there's a mindset shift that has to happen.
I don't even think it's a mindset shift, to be honest, between men that want to fully provide and men that don't. I think that it's ability. I think that we live in a world where most people it's hard making income for most people. Now, I don't live inside of that world, nor will I put myself into that pigeonhole. But I feel like when we get comfortable, and notice that I'm saying, oh, thank you. Notice that I'm saying, notice that I'm saying pigeonholed in a space. That's why I'm saying there's a pivot sometimes necessary in your purpose, right? A lot of people, if you're only making X amount of dollars, which you may not view as a lot of money and you want more, those are oftentimes the men that want to go 50-50. But if you made $5 million a year, let's not even say 5 million. If you made $500,000 a year or $1 million a year, would you really want your girl to go in 50-50 on all of the bills? My guess is no, because you would want to make her life easier.
Yeah, you're solving a problem.
Right. And truly masculinity, not to weaponize masculinity or femininity, but masculinity desires to provide. So it's not that men are less masculine because they don't provide. Sometimes they're not able to, and that's fine. However, is the desire there if you could?
Right.
I think that's the difference.
So, okay. So I have 2 questions.
Okay.
So you're saying that it's the desire to wanting to be a provider creates a space for masculinity more so not wanting the desire. Like because you said before, men who don't want to provide 100% are not as masculine as men who don't.
No, I'm saying if you have the ability to you don't do it, you're not as masculine.
That's what I'm saying.
But if you have the ability to, and if you don't have the ability to, but you desire to do it, you could still be very masculine.
Yeah, that's what
I'm just saying situationally, sometimes it may not be a possibility because of where you live or the price of living or how much you're earning or those types of things oftentimes. But I also think that's why most people settle for a roommate that they have sex with.
That's crazy.
You know?
So what do you say to the men who feel like men who are full-blown providers only want to provide solely for women because they want to have a sense of control over them?
No, I don't believe that. I think that when you go to a healed masculine man that knows God, that knows his purpose, and knows who he is, right? When you have and feels good in his bank account, that control only happens when you're coming from a lack. When we try to, even us, like when we try to control the endings, one of the reasons why we're constantly trying to control things is because what would happen if we surrender control? Are we actually as strong as we think that we are? Is it actually possible for us to XYZ? And because we're going at it in that matter of things, I think that it's really important for us to understand that as men, for the men, from my opinion, as a woman looking into the men, I think that if you want control of a woman, you're a weak man. I think that if you want to love on that woman, encourage that woman, support that woman, you would never hold that over her head. Now, that being said, I do think that a woman should have her own, because sometimes men can try to get a little fresh.
Right.
A little funky, fresh.
Okay, I feel complete.
Okay, I feel complete too.
I have a great question.
I love great questions.
Does a man's income determine how much respect he gets in a relationship?
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Ooh. Does a man's income determine how much respect he gets in a relationship? Depends on the woman and depends on the income.
It also depends on the people. Depends on the people he puts himself around, because people have posses once they reach a certain level of influence and financial.
You know what though? I do feel like you can buy a lack in character. Like, I do feel like there are a lot of men that make a lot of money that are terrible humans. And because they make money, it's okay. I do feel like people will allow large amounts of income to band-aid over lack in purpose, to band-aid over compassion. The real stuff that should come inside of a partner. However, if you are grounded and rooted inside of something a little bit different, which is you yourself as a woman or a man is rooted in God, rooted in your purpose, and rooted in whatever it is, then no, I think that those that demand respect get it. When you respect yourself and you respect others, you get respect.
But just because you demand respect doesn't, I'm not going to say you don't deserve it, but I'm not going to curse on the show. A crappy person can still demand respect.
but I feel like when I say demand, maybe I shouldn't say demand, maybe I should say command energetically. Some people you respect because it's in their essence.
Mm,
You know, it's
that's
like
fair.
I can't say certain things of this person because
Yeah.
this just wouldn't go very
Like if
well.
you were in front of your elders or something, it's just like,
Yeah, you just
yeah,
don't do certain things,
yeah.
you know? And then also sometimes how people treat you has nothing to do with you. Like there are people that will be disrespectful because of their own lack of awareness or their own
Sense of perception.
sense of their
Mhm.
perception, their vantage point, their experience. They don't even know how to be respectful. And for us, one of the most beautiful things that we have the ability to do is don't take it personal. You know?
That's one of the hardest things that I had to learn, and I'm still learning in life, is learning how to not take things personally, especially in business. I can't be a robot in business, but I had to learn what that meant.
Yeah. It's a thing.
Yeah,
It's a whole thing.
for sure.
It's a lot going on. Okay, I'm complete.
Okay.
Pardon me. Oh my gosh. Wow. Did
What?
you hear that? I am so sorry.
What was that?
I get full hearing.
Oh my gosh. I just burped.
Was that
Wow.
was that
Pardon
what that
me.
was?
Whoo. I'm telling you, today is a day. Some weird stuff is happening. Okay, back to you, Aneesa.
Should a woman let her man have a cheat pass if he's paying for everything? Golly, your face.
What? First, okay. Define cheat pass.
A cheat pass.
It means he gets to go sleep with other people because he's paying all the bills?
Yeah.
No. No.
But even this is just me playing devil's advocate.
I love devil's advocate.
You've even said
Yes.
that if your man
Yes.
were to cheat on you, that doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't love you any less.
I agree.
So
No, I think that if you're allowing a man to cheat on you because he pays your bills, that's the big part. Because you pay my bills, you can have a cheat pass. No.
Okay.
No, absolutely not. Now, if we're going to have a conversation about the fact that you want to try something different, it's not because you pay my bills. It's because the desires of our heart might have shifted, might have changed, might have been like, are we even going to be together? Are we not going to be together? All of those conversations I think are normal and very human. But because you pay my bills is crazy. That's like saying, I'm going to allow you to have bad behavior because you pay my bills. No. I'm going to allow you to, disrespect me because you pay my bills. I'm going to allow you to talk to me crazy because you pay my bills. I'm not opting into that. My answer is no, absolutely not. However, if my man were to come to me and say, hey, I'm really struggling with monogamy, and I'm not talking about first year. My desire is to absolutely have a monogamous relationship.
Mhm.
And so if in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, I've never had that before. I've never been in a relationship for 10 plus years. And if he comes to me and he says, I'm really struggling with this whole monogamy thing. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Not because you pay my bills, but because I honor you, respect you, and I'm open enough to have a conversation that's hard. Now, does that mean he steps out at the end of the conversation? No. But does it mean I'm willing to talk about it? Yes. I think that it's important for us as partners to always be a safe space for our person. And I think that oftentimes, women especially, we make it really hard for a man to be honest in their desires, even when it hurts. And I think that I personally think, and look, this is not here. Let me tell y'all, this is not for all women, okay? Because there are some women that cannot handle radical transparency. I'm just not that woman. I need radical transparency because I know myself and it helps to build trust for me. But most women want to be pacified and lied to because nobody lies to themselves nobody lies more than we lie to ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got another good one.
Okay. I like the good ones.
If a man loses everything.
Yeah.
Financially.
Yeah.
Should a woman stay or leave?
Are they married?
Let's do both ways.
Okay. You're in a relationship, he loses everything. You're in a committed, exclusive relationship. I personally would say, and you're dating towards marriage.
Yes.
Like this is your person.
Yes.
Write it out. Figure it out. Help out.
What if it wasn't?
Dig in. If this is just a fun person, this is a person that I like go on dates with, I'm having a dating experience, No, that's not rooted in anything real. That's rooted inside. Now, again, I'm not a dating experience girl, and y'all know that, but I'm speaking for the women that do leave because they're not rooted in anything real.
So, okay, there was a viral video going around about, she was saying how she left her husband because he fell on hard times financially. Like as soon as he fell on hard times, she left.
That was her husband?
That was her husband. And they was like, Dad, you don't believe in like
helping him out?
Yeah, sticking in there. And this is what she said. This is the kicker. She was like, I feel like if he loved me, he wouldn't have got like in that situation. He wouldn't have fell on hard times if he loved me enough. That's literally what she said. No cap. I wish I could find that video.
You have no control over the things that are circumstantial that happen in your life. All you have control over is how you react and respond to them. So I think that is wild that a woman would say that never would have happened if he loved me. Now, that being said, I do think that we as women need to be mindful of, are we committing to a person's potential in action or potential in theory? Because there are different types of humans, right? There are the people that life happens to them and they quit, and there's the people that life happens to them and they fight. So if you have a man that's like, I lost everything, I went bankrupt, and you have to rebuild, those are the kind of men that you actually want to be with. Why? Because if he loses it again in the future, because success is not one straight line upward, it is like a heartbeat, but hopefully in an upward trajectory, right? And so inside of that, if he loses everything and he builds it back, he's a battle-tested soldier. You don't want somebody that's just, I lost it all and now, that's weak to me. But if you're willing to get back in the ring, and also that's an initiation to your relationship. If somebody loses it all and you ride it out with them, you help where necessary, you do everything that you can, and both of you are doing the best to build your empire together, you've just initiated and elevated the evolution of your relationship. Because now the trust is deeper, the love is deeper, the respect is deeper. But most people are so weak that they're like, I'm scared, I quit. So I believe in the initiation. I believe everything happens for a reason. And I can understand, like, if you're looking for a dating experience, go on ahead and bail out. But if you want something real, you've got to commit to the journey.
So this may seem far-fetched, what I'm about to ask, but I feel like it has to be asked. How can one build up their capacity for true commitment in a relationship? How can they build up that, what we call the stay factor in our book?
Staying power.
Staying power. Yeah, there you go.
How can they build up staying power?
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like it's either in you or it's not.
You think so?
I do. I feel like you can, like, it's like resilience, right? Some people are naturally just weak.
What? They
are. And
honestly,
honestly, the most beautiful people oftentimes are the most weak. Why? Because everything is easy. You can talk your way out of the ticket. You can talk your way into better opportunities. You can walk into a room and get things for free. You can be beautiful and get the $20,000 Birkin bag, a trip to Jamaica, and all you had to do was give up a little razzle dazzle, right? So when everything seems easier, not taking into account, I don't think that they're taking into account the spiritual warfare that actually starts happening, the way that they have to battle that spiritual demon, which is very expensive, to be honest. I can't afford it, but it's very expensive. I think that when you're really beautiful, you're lazy.
So are you saying that pretty privileged women are weak?
Most of them, yes. Most of them. That's why when you hear the baddie buzzword, most baddies are prostitutes because all they have to offer is their body. It's weak. It's an easy way to do life, but it's a weak way to do life. And I don't feel bad for saying it. It's just the truth. And no shots fired. Look, do you, boo. Get it how you live it. I'm not here to judge you. Live your life. However, it's the weak way. It's the easy way. It's not the narrow road.
It's not.
It's not. It's
So let me ask this.
Okay. I'm ready. She's pointing. Okay.
Can a woman ever recover from being an OF
never
model?
No.
What?
Absolutely not.
But she changed her life, Sarah.
I don't care.
She found God, Sarah.
Well, that's okay. Let me reiterate. Can she recover? Yes. Will she have the best options of high value, high earning masculine men? No.
But
It doesn't matter.
she's abstinent.
She sold her body on the internet.
She's abstinent
People
now.
have seen her busted, spread wide open.
She
There's no way.
She dressed modestly now.
What is modest when you've seen it all?
She is a member of the PTA, Sarah.
I love that for her. And it will never. And this is where we're here, ladies. We have to do a better job of measuring the consequences of our actions in the now. Now, although femininity deeply lives in the now, we're very much in the now, we also have to be mindful of what's going to happen in our future. If you decide to be ran through, if you decide to have an OF, if you decide to do adult entertainment industry, you are disqualifying yourself from a certain type of man. You are disqualifying yourself from certain types of opportunities and experiences. Now, that being said, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want and you want to be a bad bee and you want to be out here living your best life, doing all bad all by yourself, do you, boo? But I promise you, in the future, you will look back and you will regret the decisions that you made. It is not worth it.
So,
yeah.
Hold on.
Come on.
Gotta play devil's advocate here.
I love devil's advocate.
So what about the men? Why is it that
it's a double standard?
I know, but it's just okay because we all hear it's better to have a key that opens every lock than having a lock that has access with every key. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I get what you're saying.
I may be saying that wrong, but you get what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
So why is it that like a man's confidence is defined by how many women he break down in his bed?
Why does the sun come up in the east and go down in the west?
Because God made it that way.
Why do the stars sparkle?
But that's God's law.
Why is the sky blue even though it's not blue? Why I don't ask those questions because it's universal law. And
that's not universal law. It is universal law.
It is a double standard.
But that's not universal law.
It is a double standard.
Yeah, that's societal law.
Oh, touche. I'll take that. But it is what it is. We can't sit here and pretend like we are the same as men. We're not. We're not. We can't wash men off. Period. No, I need you to hear me. We cannot wash men off. Mm-hmm. There will always be a remnant of the men that we've been with inside of our bodies for life. So if you are just filled with all of these different people, you know how many different soul ties, demon spirits you got in your body?
But so do men though.
No, men can wash us off.
No.
What do you mean no?
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying because we are incubators and they are the whatever.
Penetrators. That's what they are.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but thank you.
Yes.
However, a soul tie is a soul tie is a soul tie. I'm not saying that what you're saying is invalid. I want to make that clear, but I feel like soul ties are some synonymous between genders. Just as much work. Yes.
They're not. It's a double standard. We are more emotional. They are more logical. Did you know the reason why we get so attached to men after we sleep with them is because we release a hormone that's similar to when we give birth. Did you know that?
Wait, say that again. My brain didn't compute that.
When we come to the big O, there is a hormone that we release, which is similar to that of when we give birth. Oh, you are literally connecting to that person on such a different level.
Yeah.
Men are not like that. I'm speaking scientifically. They are not like that. It is a sport. It's a sport, especially for certain types of men. And for us to sit here and act like we could be just like men, that's wild to me. I can't even fathom that.
I'm not saying that we can be just like men. I'm saying, you're talking about it from a biological,
scientific.
Right. And I'm talking about the spiritual side. Spiritually, the same thing happens for both. Like the attachment gets there regardless.
I disagree.
Now, the effects of the attachment may be different because the responses in our body may be different.
Yeah. I still don't agree.
It may be, let's say the soul ties may be stronger, may be connected stronger in women than it is men.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Right? So that may be the difference, but a soul tie is a soul tie is a soul tie. Like, I feel like we still have to put in a special amount of work, to be able to break soul ties regardless.
I hear you. I just don't agree. I feel like, and asking, and I know women will say, well, why do men get to do this? The same reason we get to breastfeed. You know, it's
what is
innate.
what
It's natural. It just is what it is. The way that we're wired is different. My mother has always said, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. It just is. We're different species, but of the same kind.
However, also, well, I'm not gonna say however.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of spiritually inclined. Okay, I'm not even gonna say that. It's a lot of Christian men that are,
Mhm.
that have similar podcast spaces that say that men use their nature as an excuse
Yes. To
to
act out and smash women.
You see what I mean?
Agreed.
When real men isn't defined by the amount of women that he's
I
taken
agree
down,
with that.
yet the spiritual discipline that he has obtained
Yes.
and being able to keep himself for his wife.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, just because you're naturally and innately created to be sexually grounded and sexually focused,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that you should be that way.
I'm not saying what should or shouldn't.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
And I definitely agree in the sense where we can, how should I say? Like for me, as an example, let me make it personal.
Mhm.
If a man is sleeping with 100 women, I would never look at him. I'm not interested in a man that needs to, because it's still a sport. He's
But
not
how
even
would you know
almost
that
in
he
the space.
has?
You have the conversations. But if you're not in husband mindset, now this is the thing too. We've got to get really clear on who's in husband mindset and who's in outside mindset.
Mhm.
You
Wait.
don't try to turn a person that wants to be outside into your husband. And that's what we do as women. And then we create the soul tie. And yes, do they get it? Yes. But does it have the same effect? Absolutely not. It just doesn't. We're not wired the same way. And so inside of that, I think that it's really important for us as women, number one, the vetting process.
Mhm.
Number two, are you identifying, is this a husband? Some people are dating clowns. Stop going to the circus. Get you a husband. You know, or date a husband and become a wife, and hopefully one day you get to be married. That's what I'm saying. I just also inside of that, I feel like men, it's a double standard. Men get to sleep with more women, although there's extremes, right? I'm not
Mhm.
saying that men just get to sleep with anything
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's unattractive.
I mean, I
ultimately.
agree.
But
I agree with what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
there's definitely a double standard. I'm just saying that even though it affects us in a different way, the soul tie is still there. And I feel like before a man can properly lead in a high value masculine way, because that man has to be a spiritual man. He
Yeah.
has to have a level of self-discipline and awareness to not create senseless soul ties with women.
Yeah. Senseless is crazy, but it happens every day. I'm complete.
The other side.
Thank you. Best team ever.
Thanks.
Appreciate you. Okay.
So with all that being said,
Mm-hmm.
there's been plenty of people that you and I know that's been on this podcast has talked about how they started out 50-50 and then they ended up coming into the space where the man was the 100% the provider or whatever. Is it a bad thing? Not necessarily is it a bad thing. Is a relationship more destined to fail if it starts out at 50-50 and have the desires to grow into a full provider situation?
No. I feel like date in your realm. You know what I mean? Like I think that a man that wants to provide but just hasn't gotten there yet financially, but the desires of his heart are to provide for his woman, I think that's a beautiful man. You
Mhm.
know, where he's just getting started in his purpose. Now, if you're 45, and you're like, I'm a 50-50 man, and you're not my kind of guy,
Mhm.
but there's somebody out there for you. And then my question is, why? Like, if you can afford to, why would you not want to provide for your partner?
Is it because he doesn't? Well, that would make him less masculine if he just doesn't have the desire to solve the problem.
I think if he has the ability to solve the problem and
Mhm.
does not, that makes him less masculine.
Yeah, that's what
But
I'm
if
saying.
he doesn't have the ability because his job hasn't permitted or society hasn't permitted or whatever, all of the 10,000 reasons why you're not earning the income that you desire, if you're not making it, but your desire is there, but you're actively working on it,
Mhm.
remember potential in action versus potential in theory, right? In theory, this person says they want to do all these things, but what do your actions say? And that's why the old cliche saying goes, actions speak louder than words. Show
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What about the people that say 50-50 is BS? What about 100-100? What does that even look like?
I think it's just everyone doing their best, because also ultimately, this is the thing too. Do I think I'm ever going to pay a mortgage? No, I don't. I think that I
Because your husband's going to pay for it?
yes, for
Oh,
sure.
okay. I was okay. I
Yeah,
just want to make sure we was on the same page.
I don't see that for myself. But in the event, let's say all hell came breaking loose. Okay, all hell broke loose. Ooh, I just attached myself, and I have to pay a mortgage. I still got it to do it. Number one. Number two. Sometimes your energy is on 0,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna need you to show up for me on 100 to fill up my 0. Hell, you might have to be on 200 and vice versa. I
Mhm.
think it's the ebb and flow inside of relationships where you allow one another to be all of who you are, establish, identify, and
Mhm.
move inside of the roles that you've created for your relationship, because
Mhm.
every relationship is different.
Mhm.
And then also just respecting that aspect of things, and if it changes, be okay and love and respect and appreciate that person enough to be like, oh, I can pick up this slack here. Most people don't want to pick up the slack. They're lazy and they're weak.
I was just about to say something. So, do you believe in? I know you wouldn't prescribe to this.
Okay.
However, what about the women who, let's say a woman meets her soulmate.
Okay.
Let's say um she doesn't necessarily need a man to be ultra successful to be
Okay.
satisfied within a relationship and fulfilled.
I love that.
However, she meets a man and she's in love with a man and she feels like this is her soulmate, and he has a desire to become wealthy. Like he has a desire to be a 1%er or a 10, whatever that looks like.
Love it.
Is it wrong for a woman to build with that man in a way where she's a part of that success? Like, you know how, a lot of women already want their man already established in a way where they can just benefit and profit from it on their own. However, what do you say to about women who have the desire and are willing to build a life with a man
I
to then
think
have the fruits of the labor later?
I think that's a wife. I think that's the difference between women that are married
Mm-hmm.
and a wife. Because at the end of the day, when you think of a Proverbs 31 woman, she worked, right? She took care of the kids. She was highly respected. You pick up the slack, and this is the thing about a feminine woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's constantly seeking the desire before it's expressed, or she's seeking the need before it's expressed.
Mm-hmm.
So I know when I'm looking at a man, I'm looking for what gaps do you have that I know I can fill.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also, that being said, the caveat to that is I can't be with a man that has no gaps either. Because if you don't need me in any type of way, I'm disposable.
Mm-hmm.
That's where true partnership comes together. You fill each other's gaps,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And even though we're whole, I'm a whole, but I still got, little crevices that need to be filled up,
Yeah.
And I feel like, and vice versa. So I personally feel like a woman that is prepared to build with, be with, encourage, support where necessary, and like literally look for the need before it's expressed, that woman is a different kind of woman.
I have a follow-up.
I love a follow-up.
So do you believe that you have to be 100% whole to be ready to be in a relationship?
No.
Expand, please.
I don't think you have to be 100%. Well, actually, retracted. Will we ever be perfect? No.
That's not what I mean.
What do you mean when you say whole?
Complete.
I'm complete.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I attract complete.
Yeah, I'm not saying perfection. Absolutely, because we will never reach that. We will make ourselves miserable.
So this is what I think. I think that the level of person that you attract,
Mhm.
dependent on your journey of healing and feeling complete and whole, knowing that we always have growth. Like I know I'm a beautiful disaster.
What does that mean?
I know that about me. It means I'm not perfect. It means I am absolutely unapologetically myself. I am in the utmost integrity with
I knew you
myself.
was about to
I
say
have
that.
a clear barometer with God. I don't stray too far outside of my lanes. I know who I am. I know whose I am, and I know why I'm here. I
Mhm.
know these things, right?
Mhm.
Now, that being said, I will always be evolving.
Mhm.
So inside of me, knowing who I am, I also know what I'll accept and what I won't accept.
Mhm.
Now, that being said, my standards
Mhm.
are extraordinarily high, not just for others,
But
mostly for
yeah.
myself. And then also, in order to come around, you've got to be on this same
Yeah, I was just
standard.
about to say, no, your expectations are fairly high within your friendships too, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And across
It's
the board.
hard being your friend.
Yeah, it is. Because there's
I know this from experience.
Girl, there's a high standard. It is like we don't do certain things. We
Yeah,
don't say
for
certain
sure.
things. We ain't gonna sit here and talk about people. Like there's just certain things
Yeah.
I'm not interested in. You know, if it's not for the betterment of the colony, what are we doing?
Mhm.
So that being said, I think it's important for the ladies to know. Can I go over here, Kenny? Ladies, it's important for you to know that the higher your standard, the smaller your dating pool. And sometimes people will try to weaponize singleness. They'll say, oh, you don't have a man because no, it's a choice, right? And singleness does not necessarily mean bad, nor does singleness necessarily mean lonely. You might be alone,
Mhm.
but that doesn't mean that you're lonely.
Yeah, that's the
And so
difference.
when you can choose from a space of, ooh, like I powerfully choose you. I powerfully choose you.
Mhm.
The relationship is better because the standard is different. So me being whole gave me an opportunity to choose from a space of I only want someone else that's whole.
Mhm.
You know, now if we're like mid, you're probably going to attract somebody on an energetic and spiritual wavelength that's mid.
So I guess what I'm asking is when I say be complete, like, should you be in a relationship and going to therapy at the same time? Should you be
Yeah.
what? Huh?
I think you should have already been in therapy.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, do people get in relationships while they're still doing the work or after they feel like the work is complete?
The work is never complete. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that you should be in a space where you unapologetically know exactly who you are, whose you
For
are,
sure.
where you're going.
Yeah.
I think that is important. I think you should have a very strong sense of what is my integrity with self? What is my self-respect? What are my boundaries? What are my standards? What are my expectations inside of life? And when you have those things,
Right.
you only allow those things. Don't settle for somebody because you have warm body syndrome. Oh, well, I'm alone. Well, if your integrity with yourself is high, you know, you don't need to have that next drink.
Right.
You don't need to be out at that club. Your dress does not need to be that short. Are you looking for attention or are you looking for respect? This is where people start wavering on their boundaries because they don't know who they are. So when you get to a space where you know who you are, I get what I get. To be completely honest, I feel like in a turtleneck or in a dress, you could pull the same type of people. And to be honest, the person in the turtleneck is going to get way more respect in a dress that it's a coochie cutter dress, right?
So
That being said, I think that if you are whole, but still growing, whole, still in therapy to learn new things, whole, still, and then when you get a whole new person, now you have a whole new set of perspectives and vantage points and experiences and learning and new triggers because now maybe this person is teaching you something you didn't even know about yourself.
I guess, I'm not going to say I guess. I see what you're saying. I believe the perspective and the angle that I'm coming from is you shouldn't be dealing with trauma and dealing with healing in a sense where you can possibly bleed on others.
That didn't cut you.
Yeah, while, you know what I mean?
But
while you're in a relationship.
I do think that new people trigger you differently, right? I don't think that you should be reactive, but if you still have trauma, that's normal. You may not even know some of the traumas you have until you're in certain experiences.
You don't know you're triggered until you're triggered.
Exactly. So, but how do you respond to those things? When I get upset about certain things, I'm so in control of myself. I have a standard. I have integrity that no matter what you do, no matter how frustrated you might make me, there's certain things I'm just never going to do, despite how triggered I may be. Right? Other people that still need to work on their reaction to the trigger, the reaction to the trauma, you might want to take some time to heal. Otherwise, you're going to attract a similar kind of person that is also rooted deeply inside of their own trauma. And now you're both projecting. That's when you have the conversations of, oh, you think you better than me, huh? Oh, because you always, now we're gaslighting, we're getting into narcissistic traits, all of those different things that are just unnecessary if you take the time to heal, but know that it's a forever journey.
Right. So you were saying knowing yourself and being in a space to have integrity with self and knowing your ebbs and your flows so you can be able to make powerful decisions.
Yes. And also
Okay.
be controlled so much so that when you have new ebbs and flows that come in, you don't go off the Richter scale. That's why there's a Richter scale. It can't go off of that scale, right? This is the measurement.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So how would one create a space to discover that? Like, say for instance, I am a woman that wants to evolve into better. Well, basically who I am now. I'm your friend, so you've helped me so much.
Thank you. It's a nice thing.
So if I didn't know a Sarah Fontenot and I didn't have friends that can help me elevate around me, what would be key advice to create a space to learn self in a way to be in integrity with self?
Ooh, so there's so many different ways. Number one, the easy answer is obviously therapy, right? Counseling. But honestly, self-reflection has been my best gift. When I go back and I did my I'm sorry letter, you know, and I wrote a list of all the people that have ever wronged me and all the people that I ever wronged, and you know, said sorry to those people. And
yeah, I remember those stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, first of all, don't do that unless you're prepared. Don't press send. I press send. And the thing that I was not prepared for was the response or the lack thereof from different people.
Prepare your mind for the possible response.
You don't even have to press send. I thought that I was like, oh, I'm healed. I was not.
Or burn it.
Okay. And now, yes, you can write it out. You can burn it. You know, you can write it out. You can throw it into the ocean. There's so many different things that you could do to just get the words out. But identifying all of those things. Also, another thing that I've done was I started taking accountability for every place in my life. I am at the pinpoint of all my pain, every single part of it. If I ever get hurt, if I'm ever disappointed, if I'm ever let down, I'm at the root. I allowed this person in my life. When people are like, oh, how'd you end up, you know, with XYZ? I allowed it. I chose it in that moment because of reasons that I can validate why I did it, but I still did it. You know, if my intuition is telling me no, but I'm still saying yes, I'm dishonoring myself, which goes back to what kind of integrity do you have with yourself? I also feel like another thing that you could do is journal, you know, and apologize and have compassion for your own journey, because over time, things change, but like things don't change overnight. Okay, they just don't. It's not realistic to think that. And sometimes we want to have a completely different life like tomorrow, and it's just not real.
So, because I believe anybody can change with proper spiritual guidance and God revelation, how does one build integrity?
By keeping promises to yourself. I think it starts so small. It starts with, if you want to lose 5 pounds, start doing sit-ups by your bedside and crunch and squats, right? It's not saying I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week when you haven't been to the gym in 5 years. It's doing the little things that are necessary. And honestly, I feel like if you do a priority list where you prioritize your priorities and you start checking things off, you'll see most of the things that you don't really want to do really only take 15 minutes. And so now I took an hour and a half procrastinating this thing that I just don't want to do when it really would have only took me 15 minutes.
You know what? I never thought about that. Having a priority list.
Yeah.
Like, I know that normal to-do lists are great, but I've heard about it before, but I never thought about it. Like,
it's because it's the 80-20 rule, right? So 80% of the result that we want comes from 20% of our most consistent stuff. Okay. Right? So it's the same in business. It's the same in relationships. You want a happy relationship. What are you pouring in so intentionally, so much every single day? And this is going to give you that result. People don't think about it that way. So I think that when you start creating and keeping those promises to yourself, I want to grow in my business. Okay, well, how many people did you expose your product or service to last month? 500. Can you do 525 this month?
Mhm.
Can you do 550 this month? Can you do, and then you incrementally grow. I think people need to stop wanting to have the big tomorrow and focus on what can you do small today to completion. Because this is another thing. A lot of people start things, but they never finish.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to finish.
I believe it's because people don't know how to define goals. That's probably one of my hardest things too. Like defining, like I have all these big goals. You know what I want to do in life. I have all these humongous aspirations, and you know, you've told me several times that I'm capable of achieving all of these things, right? And I love you so much for reminding me that. I'm like, get you a Sarah, y'all. Like real
I
talk.
love you.
Find you a Sarah in the world. Hold on tight and never let her go.
It's an us thing,
unless
okay?
she burns you off like a leech. But don't leech on her. Like seriously.
Hilarious.
No, because you, like, one of the best things about you is that you really can see the best in all of your friends, and like you pull the best out of us. Like when Sarah is in work mode, guys, when Sarah,
Like now.
she is a different person.
True.
And friend Sarah and work Sarah are two different Sarahs, but it creates a standard where if I were to work anywhere else that's affiliated with Sarah, but she's not in the room, I'm the best person in the room but you've made me that way.
Yay.
So I appreciate that.
Yes.
And
I saw that the other day. We did a photo shoot. And
Yeah.
you were on your P's and
You know what I
Q's.
mean?
I was like, this girl.
I was like, okay,
she ain't playing.
you feel me?
I do.
Because I got tired of Sarah calling me and be like, hey, I love you. I was like, Lord, you know how you get those calls and you be like, what'd I do? I didn't do it. What did I do now? That's definitely me and Sarah for sure.
Hilarious.
So many things that
But it's a beautiful blessing.
Yeah,
I
for
think.
sure. I definitely
we
became
do well.
better. Yeah, for sure. 1000%. But no, I just feel like a lot of times, a lot of people don't know how to define their aspirations. They know who they want to be. They know they want to be a top 1%er. They know they want to be a high earner. They know they want to own real estate. They know they want to have a real BBL. They want the BBL allegations, right?
Right.
But they a big bag.
I get them all the time.
You know what I'm saying? Hello? Because that thing be fanging a little bit,
Sometimes,
girl.
depends on
You
what
know
I'm
what I mean?
But you know what though? I will say the only challenge that I have to that is people think they know until they have to become that person. And the problem with success is not the actual success. It's changing your identity around having it.
Mm-hmm.
And most people aren't ready for that journey of things.
Yeah, but see, my whole thing is, we ain't talking to those people.
Who don't
the people
have a lot of friendships.
Huh?
Can I ask this question?
Sure. No, I'll ask it.
Okay.
Do you think it's a red flag if you're a woman who doesn't have a lot of Do you think it's a red flag if your woman doesn't have a lot of friendships or anybody you can trust as girlfriends?
Wait, what?
So, like, say for instance, you're in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you're in a relationship, and you had no girlfriends that your man can trust.
That my man can trust? My man will never be friends with my girlfriend.
No, I know that. But what I'm saying is,
Never.
like, I don't think I'm communicating this right.
I don't understand the question.
What I'm saying is, she's saying, is it a red flag if the woman in a relationship has no women around her that you can't trust her to be around? Or like,
absolutely, that's a red flag.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't even want females in my life that don't have female friends. Because I don't
really.
I don't want to be your learning curve. I know how to be a friend. I know how to show up for mine. I know how to be accountable. I know how to say I'm sorry. But these women that have never had female friends, they're envious, they're jealous, they're mean, they're hateful, they're gossipers. I don't deal with people like that. And so if you come into this circle, you know, we don't talk about people in our circle. I don't care who said what to who in the who what now. They said what about me? I don't care. Y'all don't know me. You can say whatever you want. I like, what do I look like explaining to a dog why a cat meows? I don't care. Like, it's just, I'm not interested in that conversation.
So my whole thing is, because I gotta play devil's advocate, right? Me, for example, I grew up being more masculine than feminine because of my environment, right? So I naturally was the girl that had male friends. I was in the marching band. I played a lot of sports. I wasn't the prissy girl.
You know what I mean? To be a prissy girl.
Right. And it seemed like every female, like I've always had like one female friend in each like phase of my life that was my best friend.
Yeah.
But it was only the one though.
That's okay.
So, okay.
That's a blessing.
Okay.
Because, and so what I'm saying is, for me, if you have never had a female friend, I won't rock with you because I don't trust you. I don't even think you trust yourself. That's why you don't have any female friends.
What?
If you're as a woman, if you are a woman with no female friends, I don't trust you. I just don't. Now that being said, I also feel like because I
Mm-hmm.
have experienced being burned by women who have played the long game with me in the sense where they come like how women play the
show
long
your
game
hand
with
and hide
men.
their tail?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
They play the long game with men, take care of me, and then you really find out who they actually are.
Yeah.
I've had that experience with women. So for me, it's more challenging for me to allow new women into my life, especially now as we continue to evolve, grow, and move to the next level, higher levels, new devils. Sometimes they're your
Right.
friends. You got to let them
Damn.
go, so I say that to say, that I'm not saying no new friends, but I am saying the same way you vet a man, vet a woman, because people will show you their hand and hide their tail, as you said. People will pretend to be something that they're absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a challenge for me.
I have a follow-up question.
Okay, I'm ready.
Somebody asked, and then I have another question from before.
Okay.
Somebody asked, Sarah, can you be friends with a woman that dated a man that you've dated?
Like as in a relationship?
Yes.
Can I be friends with a woman that was in a relationship with the man I'm dating?
Yes.
No. I'm not healed enough. Sorry. I wish I could say, yeah,
girl,
she's in the past. It's just me and him. No, I'm not that healed. I think that I would very much be inside of, why would you even want to be my friend if we dated the same person? Like exclusive relationship, I got questions. And I didn't know about it. That's even more so like,
oh yeah, because if we're friends, why wouldn't you tell me?
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't date somebody that my friend has been with.
Right. You would have automatically like, oh, you're off limits.
Yeah, it's a no.
I'm sorry.
And
even if you liked him already, what if you already established, like, let's say you met a man and y'all have already been like dating for a while.
Okay.
And you're very private. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm not with my circle.
You're not.
My circle knows my entire life. The internet is going to be slow to the game.
But, okay. Well, that's fair. But you still
so
have
my whole circle would know.
Okay, that's fair.
Who
okay,
my man is. And then when that happens, it's like, oh, I dated him too. What? Ain't no way.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. All right, next question. I feel complete. That's fair. That's fair. I've never been in that situation, so I was trying to, you know what I'm saying, caveat into perspective, but nope, that's fair. What advice would you give a woman with the past who's in a healthy relationship with a masculine man who's basically perfect?
Wait,
what is the past? What does that past mean?
Read it again?
What advice would you give a woman with a past who's in a healthy relationship with a masculine man who's basically perfect?
Keep up the good work, buddy. I mean, honestly, like, good for you. I love that for her. I think that if you have a healthy masculine man, that's a reflection of the woman that you are. Keep it up.
Yeah,
stay feminine.
Like, so it's like,
stay giving, stay nurturing, stay loving.
So is this person still using her past as a crutch and as it's a mute point in her brain to possibly be a negative factor in her relationship? Is that possibly like she's still holding on to something that she feels can affect the relationship and she needs to let that go?
I don't know. Healthy masculine is challenging to find in a world where most men are much more feminine and lack leadership. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a gender thing. Masculine and feminine are energies, not genders. And, I do think that leadership is something that's fewer and far in between these days for a lot of men. And so if she attracted that and they're dating and they're in a healthy relationship, I think that like just literally keep it up. Continue to be the soft, loving, nurturing, supportive, helpful, kind woman that you must be, because healthy masculine has options.
That's real.
Like it doesn't have to be you. So just continue to heal, grow, and evolve, I would say. Should we get to some of these videos?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We have videos.
We do. So the first one, I'm just gonna click the first one from.
Did I share the note already?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Go down. It says February because I didn't change it.
Okay. So click that one, the top one under February.
Yep. Whichever one.
Okay.
I want you to rate your wife 1 to 10 then.
Okay, as soon as you rate your husband 1 to 10.
You went around and you want all these women to rate themselves, right? So rate
Yeah.
your wife.
On pure physical attractiveness, at her age, my wife is about a 6. Now rate your husband. Do it. Your turn.
I don't.
Yeah, I know. That's right.
No, I told you I don't.
Distinction between honesty and a liar,
No, are you
ladies
saying
and gentlemen.
rate him physically?
Yes,
on physical
physically
attraction?
only.
Not on my
Only
attraction to him?
physically. Do it. I just did. Do it. You can't do it.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
she
right.
shouldn't do
You're
it.
not fucking
It's
doing it.
disrespectful.
Totally dishonest.
No.
Demands it from me, refuses to say it
Because you're
herself.
the one setting the standard.
My
of wanting
wife's
to
literally
ask
watching
people.
it. Guarantee you she's not upset at all, but you can't answer
No,
the question
I
honestly.
think it's a disrespectful question.
Why?
Because I think
Because it's true?
I'm sorry.
You want to know what I think would have been a better question?
Mm-hmm.
Because women don't care about physicality. He should have said, rate your husband's bank account on a scale of 1 to 10. Because the truth is, men desire aesthetic, which he is saying he failed on, and women desire safety, security, which is a monetary value.
Now, I agree with that. However, I feel like the reason why that question is asked is because
Women date less attractive men all the time
no,
because we're looking for characteristics.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
looking
for sure, for
safety,
sure.
security, all of those things.
yeah. He was just saying that the older that the point they was making that caused that answer, that caused that question. He was like, the older that women get, like my wife has had children, like as time goes on, like her beauty fades. You know what I mean? However, she's a loving mother. She takes care of me. You know what I'm saying? Basically describing her value as a whole, whereas her physicality alone. You know what I'm saying? And then, like you said, he should have followed up with rate your husband's bank account.
Yeah, because I feel like it's not a fair question. Plus, if a woman were to go online and be like, my man is a 2, strictly physicality, now I have to deal with the ego of my man. It's not worth it for her to answer that question.
Mm-hmm.
Because men don't measure themselves on the barometer of physicality most times. They measure themselves on achievement.
Would you be with a man who gave you a mid rate in beauty?
I used to only date men that were like a 7 and under.
No, I'm talking about that would give you a rate of mid. You're not, but I'm saying, would you date a man that, you know what I'm saying?
Would I date a man
that
like, gave me
like
mid-ranking in beauty?
Yeah, like if somebody I'm not saying this would ever happen. I'm sorry. That's not what I mean.
Woo!
I'm just but like what if your husband got online and said that about you? Like let's say it's 20 years from now, you've had a couple of his children. This is just a pure scenario.
And he gave me a 6?
Yeah.
Ain't no way.
Like she like
I rebuke that in the name of Jesus.
I know, but I'm saying like you're beautiful for sure. But I'm saying like because
but you know what though, honestly, I think honestly I would because I'm not as much. The most beautiful thing about me is not my aesthetic.
I know that.
Like I literally say this all the time. I am not the most beautiful girl in the world. And I say that and I mean it from my chest. Like I am not. You will go outside, throw a rock. You will find so many women that are far more beautiful than me. But what I add to my people and my circle and the value that I bring is trumping most.
Yeah.
To be honest.
That's fact.
So for me, for my man to be like strictly aesthetic, I couldn't even see him.
He couldn't even be able to do that.
I don't think that, but maybe he could, because if he said she's a good mother, she's a this, she's a that, blah, 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 blah. Maybe he would, because men are more aesthetic, but I feel like, fine, you think I'm a 6? Great, baby. Get your little 4 ass over here, like, fine. We just gonna gonna do what it do, but I just, for me, if you gave me a 6, what would you give? But what would you rate? What the value that I bring?
That's what I was saying. Like, what if he gave you a 6 in beauty, but what if your other
10 across the board? It makes sense.
Yeah. If he adding all of your other attributes,
it's giving 8s and 9s over here. My beauty's cool.
Yeah, no, I think you're very beautiful.
Thank you.
I think,
but literally everything else, like I'm across the board.
yeah, you're like, don't take this the wrong way. You're like Mean Girl pretty. Like you're not a mean girl. No, but you like, you know, you remember those old 90s movies where I
loved Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Like I'm a Regina George.
Yeah, don't judge me. I've never seen that movie a day in my life. I've never seen.
Then you can't say that.
No, I'm not talking about the actual movie Mean Girls. I'm talking about all of the old school Disney Channel, Nickelodeon movies where they had the high school movies and they're always the mean girls that were super pretty and tall and had the long flowing hair and the makeup and the things.
I buy the hair.
Yeah, like you are the most, like, you're beautiful on the inside, but I'm saying, like, normally you like you could play that role very well in a movie.
It.
Like
I
you
just
would be
played
able
a role in a movie.
Like the cheerleaders.
I was a cheerleader.
Yeah, like the mean girl cheerleader. You played that role with the Letterman's jacket and the pleated skirt and stuff.
That was the thing. I was really, and I was captain 2 out of my 3 years.
Girl, you are such a cliche.
I know. Okay, next video. Do we feel complete?
Yes.
Okay. These don't want to let me click, so I'm just clicking whatever lets me
friends
click.
with you guys.
This my man. This my husband. Yeah.
That's wifey. Yo, I just stopped this couple real fast. You know, coming out of McDonald's real quick. This is the real question right here. How long y'all been dating for? How long y'all been married?
2 years.
2 years? 2 years? Wait, so you trust her?
I ain't doing this with y'all.
You trust her?
This my girl, yeah. I
You trust? Wait, why you just about to walk up? What happened?
Huh?
Because we know what y'all gonna do.
We're gonna switch phones for 60 seconds to see you guys actually trust each other. But I gotta control it though. Who phone first?
Huh?
Who phone first?
I don't even know what you asking.
That's how you went through her phone.
I don't go through phone.
You don't go through phones? You got no guys on her phone, bro. You got a good one so far.
Let's go through pictures. Let's go through. What else you wanna go through?
Who's Tyshawn?
Click on
Who's
it.
that, bro?
Click on it.
Whoa.
Yeah, you got the wrong couple.
Hold on. We're not
The
done.
wrong couple. Baby, I don't even get down like that. I'm
rock like that.
Whoa, bro. Wait. Yo. Video done already, bro? That's a red flag. He just grabbed the phone like that and walk away.
Oh, he's cheating. He's cheating. I really feel in my heart of hearts, like, I don't go through phones, but if I were to ask, like, what are you hiding? Like, at any given moment, you could go through my phone. Now, that being said, even like, let's say you're in a new relationship, right? You're in a new relationship and maybe everyone doesn't know that you're in a new relationship as of right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're dwindling off and letting men know. So as the time goes on, as a woman or as a man, people that were dating you or getting to know you or, you know, you were experiencing, they probably are still going to pop up. And one by one, you got to let them know.
Right.
But because I'm very transparent in my situation, you can go through my phone. I don't have nothing to hide. And if something popped up, oh, you already know about that. Like, that person wanted to go, I'm letting everybody know, you know? So for me, I feel like if you have something to hide around your phone, here's another question. How come you have a problem hiding your phone, but not your body? Like, why can't somebody go through your phone, but you will raw? Like, I'll be completely raw with my body, but I got to protect my phone.
I'm sorry. I thought you was about to say something so much worse than that. My brain just went to the left.
But really and truly, like that, the math is not mathing for me.
Because people value what they possess in their hands and they value themselves as a whole.
No, they don't.
Yeah, because their whole entire ego is in this phone. People can respect and admire who they think they are more than who they actually are, and in terms of that, they choose to sell themselves short.
Yeah, I just nothing in me would feel like good about that situation.
Yeah, that's you, Sarah. Yeah,
I'm not doing that.
I know,
if
but
I say, let me see your phone, like, even if I was joking, hey baby, can I see your phone? I could not even imagine.
What if like they, nah. You know, I know you've seen those videos where like the phone is on the table and like say a sandwich is on the table and they're next to each other and then you're reaching for something.
Yeah.
And he snatches the phone when you were just reaching for the sandwich.
Is my birthday coming up? Is it almost Christmas? Is it almost Valentine's Day? Because that's the only reason why I could imagine him being like, let me hide. because he's planning something. But if it like and my mind wouldn't even, to be completely honest, when I choose like my guy, my man, I can't even, my mind doesn't even go to he's cheating. It goes to, oh, he must have something in store.
I love that. I love that that he would create a space for you to be that level of gullible. Like you know what I mean?
Not gullible.
No, but it's because let's say if he was cheating and you would think like, oh, maybe he's planning something, you know, a lot of black women be like, oh, you being gullible, girl. That dude, he cheating. You know what I mean?
No, but also I feel like so there's a difference. So if this guy was like, let me look through your phone, right? Mm-hmm. That's completely different than me reaching for a sandwich and he moves his phone out the way, in my mind. Mm-hmm. But also, what is the time? Is it close to my birthday? Mm-hmm. Is it close to Christmas? Is it close to Valentine's Day? Mm-hmm. Like when you got a planner and everything's a surprise.
Yeah, months ahead of time.
Everything is a surprise.
Don't touch my phone. Why are you in my
business? Don't touch my phone,
well,
but like.
Why are you in my business?
Yeah.
Why? What you doing?
Yeah.
Get away from me.
Yeah.
Move.
Yeah. And that's cute to me. But if it's like.
Are you the one now trying to figure out like, what you doing? What you about to do? Once you like, when you feel like
I hate knowing when I have a surprise. Just surprise me.
But what if like you caught him not caught him in a way where it's flat out blatant, but what if you have a feeling? Like, are you the person that can't get rid of the feeling like I need to know?
Oh, I would say, come have a seat. Can I see your phone? If I have a feeling that he's cheating.
Oh, I'm saying like, no. I know that.
Oh,
We've had that conversation before. I'm talking because you.
I'm not deceitful.
You told me you'll go into the text messages and look for keywords. So
Period.
I'll never forget that.
I'm going to deleted messages. I'm going to deleted photos. If that were the case, but I don't feel, and if, to be honest, if you feel like you need to check a man's phone, you probably don't need to be with that person anyway, because you don't trust them.
Yeah.
Your intuition is telling you don't trust them.
No, but what I meant was if you feel like you said he may be planning something, there's a surprise or whatever, and he was shifty, like hiding his phone because he may have a surprise, you be like, what you doing? Would you try to like figure it out?
No, I'd let him be great.
You could sit with that feeling? I couldn't sit
I
with
hate
that.
knowing I have a surprise though. I literally hate it with my entire soul.
Like, how do you sit with that?
I don't know. I hate it. Like, just surprise me.
Right.
But if I found out, now it's like, doggone it.
Like I was the kid that went looking for her Christmas presents before Christmas.
Oh no, we would have got whooped for that. I can't do that.
What?
Are we complete? Oh, for facts, we're complete.
Yes, we feel complete.
Okay.
Next
final video. Final video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, today I'm gonna be guessing my husband's favorite things.
I'm not your husband. Not yet, Kins.
I've decided today I'm going to make a Filipino dish for my husband. I'm going to
Wait,
try.
what? Wait, what'd you say? For who?
What, for my husband.
You classified me as your husband?
Yes.
I didn't put a ring on it yet.
Are you going to?
Yeah?
Okay.
I'm with that energy. Let's put it out in the universe.
That's on you. Your timing.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, I'm your husband?
Hi, can I do the 8-count nugget meal?
Can y'all split up a little bit, please?
Yeah. And then my husband would like the spicy chicken sandwich.
Spicy chicken sandwich.
Bro, you heard that?
I heard that.
Bro, she called me a husband.
Bro,
she called me a husband. She called me a husband.
That was cute. The first one was like, oh. The second two were like, yeah.
The difference between a man who knows. I think that's all men who know. He just knew that she won it.
Yeah.
The first one. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is my question. What's the point of a filler relationship?
What is a filler relationship? Explain that to me.
If you're not
I know
dating
what a filler
towards marriage.
is. Oh, yeah.
If you're not intentional about what is it? Is
People
it just
like wasting their time? We all love wasting our time a little bit, Sarah.
I don't.
We all love a little procrastination.
I don't like that.
We love a little, delay in our purpose. We love that. We eat that for breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm done. I was being facetious.
Do we want to do one more? I'm looking through these questions to see if there's a really good question that we should ask. And then I think I feel complete.
I got one question here for somebody. It said, I'm about to get married.
Ooh.
And the man I'm about to marry, he used to be a womanizer.
Ooh.
Do you think that would change or not? I think that's a big helpful question.
Girl, run.
How? No, don't
sorry.
run.
I'm
If
sorry.
you used to, is he successful? Was he single and a womanizer? I don't think that that's unnormal.
What is a womanizer?
A womanizer is a man that sleeps with a lot of women. So if you're sleeping with a bunch of women, that's that's normal for a successful masculine man. It is a sport. They want to conquer. Now, that being said, was he a womanizer inside of your relationship? Was he a womanizer while you were engaged? Or has he been committed to you this entire time? Because sometimes if you're the kind of woman that comes into a man's life, he'll look, you put the toys away when you're ready to deal with man things, right? And so I think that it depends on that man. I think that it depends on the woman that you are. But also, I hate that you're asking this question being engaged.
Right. That's
because
crazy.
you should feel safe and secure inside of your relationship, especially at this point before you walk down an aisle with someone. And also, sometimes it's us. Maybe it's our own mind where we are feeling our own insecurities and allowing those things to creep in. And I would just encourage you to trust your intuition and trust God and ask God, like, reveal to you, is this truly your husband?
Yeah, I feel like if she felt truly and completely safe within his identity with himself and in that relationship, she wouldn't even be asking that question. Because anybody can be a thing, and if they've grown from it and they don't display any remnants of that anymore, you wouldn't even have that type of concern. You only ask those type of questions when you've seen those traits and you're like, oh my God, is this something
or
that I
if you're
want
just
to be?
insecure? Because sometimes you don't see remnants, but people, they live inside of the fear. Like, if you have an anxious attachment style, you might be looking like, are you going to leave me? Are you going to leave me? Are you going to leave me?
But those people shouldn't be in a relationship though.
They need healing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I just encourage the real conversations. Have the hard. Don't be afraid of the hard conversations. That's all I'm saying. Do we feel complete?
We feel complete.
Was there a follow-up?
No.
No? Should we go live again on this next episode?
Should we go live again, darlings? Let us know in the comments.
Put a fire emoji in the chat if you would like us to go live again in the next thing. And if you guys have joined us this far, please make sure that you subscribe, hit that little bell so you get a notification. Share this with your friends or family members. I do think that we talk about some pretty awesome topics. And if no one has told you today, you are freaking phenomenal. Bomb.com. Nothing can stop you but you. But you got to do something about it. As always, thank you so much. Shot by Aneesa on the mic. What's up?
Hey, Sarah.
Hey, girl. We got Who Is Kenny V on the switchboard. Yes. And we love you guys. Bye.
We got fires all in the chat.
Bye.